Let me know when you're ready. Just say yes.
Welcome to the Apartment Rockstar podcast. Join the Apartment Rockstar Robert Martinez, a real estate industry icon and two-time National Independent Renter Owner of the Year, as he interviews the best in multifamily apartment investing and management. Follow his journey to 10,000 units and beyond.
Hey, I'm Robert Martinez, the Apartment Rockstar, and welcome to another episode of the Apartment Rockstar podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to talk all things Rockstar, and there is nothing more important than the digital marketing team. I love this opportunity. I'm so excited to do this episode and really showcase who Rockstar Capital is. Tracey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Tracey, tell everybody who you are.
Yes. So I'm Tracey. I came on board 2 years ago with Rockstar, coming from a company for 10 years. Have just been focused on marketing, digital marketing primarily. And I've just been focused at Rockstar. We started with building new websites for the main goal to drive as many leads as we could to fill the properties up. So that was our number one focus. And then in doing so, we kind of found other ways where we could increase social media presence, branding as a whole, really sharing the Rockstar brand with as many people as we could. And then also events. We kind of took the walk that Rockstar was doing and really capitalized on social media presence to get as many people as we could and get as many donations as we could.
So, I remember meeting Tracey back in at the end of 2017. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I got to have Tracey. Tracey is so amazing. Tracey can do so much. We didn't even understand this side of the business. And I've now gotten very greedy with it, right? Because I think what's happened is I fully understand your capability and the capability of the digital marketing team. I really feel like we're going we're playing like a silent war on everybody, and they don't even know that we're doing it. It's almost like those Chinese that go in underneath there and they do the little cyber warfare, and we're doing things, and that gets me really excited. You give me a lot of confidence on what we do. Thank you. On what we do as a business and how we're moving forward. I remember we had our business meeting, the last couple of days, and I promise you, this company changed complexion completely when you joined the mix. I think bringing in your expertise, bringing in your knowledge base, and really your openness to learning new things, right? Because I think at Rockstar it's a living, breathing organism, and it's growing. When you came, I think we were still crawling, and now I think you can say, wow, you are like running, and we're not just running, we're running to win a race. Mm-hmm. And it's all happened in just the 2 years or so that you've been with the company. And, I think giving us the basics of what we weren't doing, and then now evolving into what we are doing. So can you share a little bit of that journey? Tell us a little bit about what was it that you thought you were going to be doing, and what are you actually doing today?
Yes, so I thought that I was going to be coming on board and just really helping you get online presence. I knew that I've seen your videos before that Rockstar was doing, and how you reach out to your residents and you highlight your amenities and how you give back to the community and your employees. And that really stood out to me. It was like a family culture. And you had all of this great content in these videos, but they weren't being displayed anywhere where people could actually see them, where the public could see them, and then our prospects could see them, and our residents could see them too. So that was the main goal, was getting you good websites where you had good pictures, good video content that you already had, and displaying it for as many people to see. But then behind that, it's not just a shell. A website is not just a shell, or it's doing nothing.
Like a mannequin with no soul, right?
Yes. So we were in talking with you and how open you and Melissa were to bringing everything in-house and having the marketing team just be more in-house and not only relying on third-party vendors and just ILSs. We put a huge focus on social media ads, which you presented to me, and I was even a little bit shaky at first because I was more used to Google ads and other metrics to bring leads in, and focusing on the SEO on websites and how they're built. So we did some testing on Facebook, and I'm proud to say that in the last year alone, we have made 33 million right under 34 million impressions from
Explain to the audience what
from
an
our
impression
Facebook
is.
ads. So what that is if somebody has an interaction, so they liked it, they commented, they shared, they did something on that ad that showed that it made an impression to them.
Hold on. Wait a minute. In the last year?
In just the last year.
In 2019,
right
we
under
had
34
million actions.
Yes, and we were doing marketing on the ads for about 22 properties at that time in this year. We've gained about 6 properties over the last year. Yeah. And then we also had 4,700,000 we reached through our social ads to our website.
What does that mean?
So they saw the ads on social media and then they clicked through to our website.
Okay, well,
so
that's what you want,
huge.
right?
So
Yeah.
yes. And then that, has helped us result in 51,000 total leads in the last year, 2,800 leases. We've had 250,000 views on YouTube across your YouTube channel and Rockstar Capitals. And then, of course, Instagram growth has grown from 1,400 to almost 25,000. But going back to the Facebook ads a little bit, our website hits increased tremendously, and we had 382,000 website hits across all our 22 properties.
How many again?
382,000. And that is our number one move-in and lead source across our entire portfolio. It's actually 76% of our move-ins. So it's without a doubt our number one ranked
Facebook ads.
source. Our website,
Website
which
hits.
Facebook has been driving people there.
Yes.
And then in that top 5, we also have resident referrals, and we also have the Google Map. So when you do a search for apartments in a certain area, there's that map that's at the top. It's pretty much free advertising. It's the best you can get, and then it links to our website as well, and that's because of our reviews. So that's
You're hitting everything.
credit to the teams.
Everything. Yeah.
Credit to the teams for always pushing those reviews, which you guys had a great strategy even before I came on board
I
to
could
do
have 3
that.
hours with you right now. I know I could.
Yes.
But let's take a step back because I really want to slow it down because I think we talk this every day, and I don't think our investors, I don't think maybe the people watching understand how important it is because this is a numbers game. Yes. It is a complete numbers game, and numbers win. Right, yes. The more you got, I would want to say shotgun approach because that sounds so blunt and without thought, but it's not. It is a numbers game. So before we had the 4 million hits on the website, right, which converted into how many again leads? 500 or 51? What was it?
Over 50,000.
Or 50,000. Mm-hmm. See, that's a small number
in
on the
year.
number of hits, right? So you got to get that hits as much. How do we keep them there, though, right? I mean, let's talk about a little bit of the storytelling. Do you emphasize more storytelling today than you ever did before?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have more content.
Sure.
So there's more video now. There's more 3D tours for each floor plan. You can actually have somebody not even visit the property and see what that unit looks like.
Yeah.
And then we deployed our VLCs on site so they can put the virtual goggles on. If we are full, then we can still pre-lease by saying, I can still show you this unit, not just a model of one certain floor plan. I can show you the one you want. So and then on the website itself, before it was just like 3 or 4 pictures, kind of grainy, not the best resolution, just not really painting the picture of what it's really like when you step foot on that property. So our goal was, right when I came on board, and now we're redesigning the websites now, is to have as much content as possible, as many photos as possible that represent the property, have the reviews on the website, really showcase what they're going to see when they step on site. Because right now the average renter, it was 90%, now it's probably 99%. Look online first before they choose to come visit the property. And then they narrow their search down to about 5 or 7 places, do some online research with their website, reviews, ILSs, things like that. And then they only choose maybe 2 to 3 to actually come visit. And then that's going to be based upon if they decided to call you first, how that call went, and then how you converted them through the door. So it's very, very important that we give the prospect as much as we can and be very transparent. That way we are able to convert more to come in, because if we're not transparent, then we already lost them.
So what do you think the number one conversion tool we employ is to convert that lead into an actual lease?
Our website.
Our website.
Absolutely.
How important are the online reviews?
Very important.
Yeah. I agree.
I would say it's right up there with the website.
Well, that's where
Yeah.
I was going with that. I thought
Yeah.
I was wanting you to say online leads, but I think you're right. The website, we were just thinking about it differently, though, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit more what we do with how we utilize reviews and utilize them as a weapon. Because when I got started, the reviews scared me. I remember seeing them like, oh, now I got a negative review on Google. Oh, I got a negative review at apartmentratings.com or whatever, the hate site was, because that's what they were. They were hate sites,
Oh, yeah.
right? And people come in, but who are on there? It's the people that are complaining are the ones that don't want to follow community procedure. They don't want to follow the rules. They haven't paid their rent, so they're now making up, they're trying to make your life miserable by trying to hurt your reputation. It's very seldom an issue that we created. It's often an issue that they created, but they don't want, they're throwing a tantrum, right? So how we use reviews to grow at Rockstar?
We ask all of our residents and prospects what their experience was like, instead of just waiting, as you said, for the negative ones to come in. And then when the negative ones come in, we give a response. And as you said earlier, you check all the reviews as well. You read all of them. And then the manager, the regional manager, they're expected to call that person back and try to find a solution. So that way we can turn their opinion around, because there are some people too that will live with you for a year, and they're just the type that just don't come and talk to you or call, and they're focused in on their own life, and a work order didn't get fixed, or a renewal letter didn't get sent, or a mistake was made, whether it's their part or our part, and they just internalized it, and they feel more comfortable going online and saying how they feel. So it's our chance to turn that opinion around too, which we do a very good job at, where people will even go in and edit the review and change it because we fixed the problem. We just needed to know about it. So I think that the main thing though is we just started asking at every touch point. We teach them tons of different touch points to ask, even from the tour, how the tour was, to the move-in process, the renewal, after work orders. We're just blowing them up asking.
And what are the results of asking? What do we have to show for it?
We've got 7
Let's talk about
elite
that.
1%
Let's talk about
Aura
it. Let's go back in
properties.
time. Let's talk about when you were at the other company. Were reviews stressed as much as they are here?
Not as much, no.
Okay. Did you have a way of measuring them? In other words, was there
Yes.
an end of the year number, and did you guys get recognized? And if so, how is that different to what we're doing today?
There was no properties in the elite 1%, but there was, I believe, last year, because I remember seeing the name. But so it wasn't pushed.
Well,
It wasn't pushed as
3 years
as
after
hard.
you left, right?
Yeah.
Watching you and watching us grow. So let's talk about our success. Let's talk what have we done? I mean, what is it that we're striving for? And I want to share that with everybody.
So we had 3. There was 3, and then last
In
year,
18?
and
Or no,
then
it was 4.
there was 4 in 18, and then this year we're looking at possibly 7. We're going to know the 3rd week of January. So it all depends. They survey over 100,000 apartment communities. Ratings Tracker does through Jay Turner. So nobody's going to know until they announce it, because it's based upon everybody's score, what that top 1% elite properties are going to need for their score, the minimum score.
Absolutely. And do you remember how many there were in Houston? There were 32, 34 last year, something like that?
Yes, in Houston.
In
Yeah,
the Houston
I
area.
believe
So
so.
there were roughly 30 plus elite top 1% scores registered in Houston. What that means is they're ranked in the top 1% of the 101,000 or so apartment communities that are surveyed across the country. And we're very fortunate that I think the previous years we had 4. Last year we had 3. This year we're going to have 7. So last year, that means we had anywhere between 10 to 15% of the overall number of scores in Houston were Rockstar communities. This year, we're talking about 7, which could be over 20% of the properties. And I think that's why we have the financial success that we do. I think having you and that team monitoring that and measuring that and really just that is your stamp and putting focus on it has really developed this.
Yes, absolutely. I'm excited to find out.
So tell everybody a little bit
Few
more
weeks.
on a daily basis, what are you looking at? And how that benefits the guy? How are you sharing that with the managers and or the regionals?
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot focused on lead management right now. So it's the conversion of the lead to get them to come in and take a tour, and then how fast are we answering those new leads when they do come in. And so it's incredibly important that we train our teams on the importance of that, so they can fully understand what we know on the digital marketing side, the percentages of if you answered that new person that contacted you within 24 hours, 72 hours, or did you answer them within an hour? If you answered them within an hour, you're more likely to get that visit booked and to get that lease, because you made that perfect first impression and you considered their time. Because at the end of the day, everybody nowadays, if you think about yourself too, you don't want to wait. You want instant information when you want it. You want to pick up your phone or to just look on the internet, or you want to actually call somebody and get the information you need right away. So that's been our main focus every single week. We run the trend reports, occupancy reports, lead reports, and then we get in touch with regional managers, and just make sure that they're converting as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And then I've built a huge team with you in digital marketing that you'll end up meeting each of them on this podcast. So they are doing everything that they do for the brand. We've got Ashley doing social media across 22 sites and Rockstar and Apartment Rockstar. constantly posting on social media and constantly updating our content online for pictures and video content. And then we've got Sarah and Jonathan that are our writers. So they're so important to the brand as they're telling our story online. So it's not being just behind closed doors. So it's being broadcasted. And then we've got the film crew, Natalie, Michael, and we also have some others on contract, JD, who does all the comics that you see. And so they are huge, as you've seen your Daily Rocks. I mean, we've got people that are experienced working in news stations, sports stations, people with degrees that are coming in, that are growing and learning, and they're here filming us right now. So huge kudos to you guys.
Absolutely,
behind the lens. And then also very, very excited to talk about Caleb, who's new on board with our newest with Rockstar, and he's our director of digital marketing now. And whenever I went back and I talked about all those Facebook impressions and everything, it's also very important to realize what that did for the Rockstar brand. When you talk about 33 million impressions in a year, 4 million people reached from our ads, 250,000 YouTube views, your Instagram growth to almost 25,000, the connection with Tarek, of course, when he
social
came.
media works.
Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, all of that is getting our brand out there. And as you said, you have to talk about it or nobody's going to know about you. So what Caleb is coming on board to do is he's like a Google Analytics guru. I'm very excited to learn from him. I know I have a lot to learn from him where that's concerned. And he's going to be focusing more on targeting specific quality leads and our competitors and what he can do with that. So therefore, it's not just about the volume of numbers, it's about the quality of the lead and helping our teams know how to convert that lead through to get them to come on board and lease. So what we do through social is more so branding. It's helped us, and we've had this overflux of leads, but Caleb is going to come in and help us kind of monitor that budget and be able to put more to Google ads, which we haven't really done yet. We paid a third party to do it, but it's nothing compared to what he can do, which I've already compared and seen. So he can talk to you more about that later that you'll find very interesting. But that's what what Caleb is coming on board to do, is to really help this company out with we're bringing it all in-house. We don't need to pay somebody for our Google or Facebook ads like tons of other companies are. Also, these ILSs, they're charging extra fees to do the Facebook and Google ads, but they're doing them for tons of people. But we have somebody in-house focused on Rockstar and our properties.
Well, as I said before, we could have 3-4 hours talking here. Tracey could just chat with me, and I'm just listening and trying to absorb it as much as I can. Tracey, there's certainly no I in team, and you know that. And I promised you we'd build you a team, right? But at the same time, I mean, you've grown from being the director of marketing to now the VP of marketing operations, and obviously there's nobody in front of you, right? So it's just a gradual career growth with that. And you brought on some amazing talent. I can't wait to meet them, right? But, tell me a little bit more about just, to end this on your segment is how Rockstar has changed for you, what it's done for you professionally, how it's challenged you, how it's helped you.
Every day is a challenge, and it's a fun challenge. It's always changing. It's ever evolving, and that's marketing. But what I love coming on board with Rockstar is that is marketing, but I'm not held back. And you embrace marketing and innovation, and that's what fuels me. Yeah. And so it's just a perfect match, I feel like, because I'm not being held back, and I'm able to do all these things and continue to evolve as marketing evolves, because every day it changes.
Absolutely. It's like I said.
So we have to embrace that.
Yeah, it's like I said the other day, my sales background helped me a lot because I understand salesmanship. I understand that marketing has to bring in the leads and then sales closes them. So it goes hand in hand. And we just had our big budget review, and I know we're looking at all these reds and how marketing's above budget, whatever. And you were kind of oh, we're trying to defend.
But you've heard of Rockstar Capital right now.
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah, exactly, right. And I agree. I was I don't care about that because I know it's working.
Yeah.
I know the branding's coming out. I know I can see the ancillary benefits of what's occurring. So I was trying to share with Tracey, don't worry, it's okay. We didn't really have a real budget the year before. This is all so new to us. At the end of the day, are the leads coming in? Are we getting better? And what I learned, right, is that it's not just about bringing in the leads. You got to have the team on the other side of that, on site, not your team, on site, that can capture these leads, that can convert them. And it's exposed some holes in us, in our company, some weaknesses that I think we're going to fix this year, and I did a little deeper dive, right? Wait, how are we trying to, why do we have this hole? Because I don't think we would have had this hole 4 years ago. And I now see what's occurred. We just need to have the best talent possible sitting down in the manager chair, because they're running multi-million dollar assets. We talked to Aaron on a previous episode, and he in just 5 months he took a property from 84% to like 97, 99%, created $6 million of valuation, right? But he couldn't have done it without you, right, and having generate those leads. But those leads were there before. It wasn't being capitalized on. So it really shows you that, you've got to constantly challenge yourself. And like, is this the best that we can do? And I know with you, you want to do more. I know you just want to take, what I love and share with you is this desire to just grow and take the mountain. And then, okay, I want to climb Everest. Okay, now what's higher than Everest? Where else can we go? And I love that, right? Because obviously there's no higher mountain than Everest, but we want to climb it. We believe we're going to climb it. And we want to take on the next challenge and really set the mark, and become that company of tomorrow and the company that just puts so much emphasis. I mean, 3 years ago, your department didn't exist. And today it exists, and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars in overhead. There's hundreds, if not $1 million of marketing spend related directly to it. It has changed the face of the company. It has changed the direction of the company and fueled the inspiration and the innovation of where we're going to be tomorrow. So I just wanted to make sure I said that because you have a tremendous amount of influence on that, a tremendous amount of credit with you. And I know you think it's not all about you. You want to talk about your team, and I really appreciate that about you. But they had to start somewhere. There had to be a spark. And what I love most about you is that we just talk and we talk and we talk, and then you execute. And that's just like, it's like I said, this company's turned into this living, breathing organism, and so much is going on. And I get caught up on something. Oh, wait, that's already occurring, and, a little teaser, right? Because an email's going out real soon announcing it, but we're about to get into a little bit of education. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I know that's a big challenge for you because it's new and you haven't had to do it, but I know you're ready for it. You want to see how this grows. And you get very, what's the word? You're a bulldog, and I love that about you. I hate when it's faced at me, but I like it because you're like a weapon.
I've been called a chihuahua too.
No, not a chihuahua.
Biting at the ankles until I get what I want.
I would never call you a chihuahua.
Like
I think
the bulldog
it's
as
more,
well.
you are a bulldog. You bite and you don't let go, and that is a bulldog to me. And it's fierce and it's ferocious, and you have this mama bear. That's what I was looking for, a mama bear approach to everything. And I really appreciate it because I think you guard this company with your life. And it makes me feel so good about you. It makes me, think like I got to be with Tracey forever. We got to keep this because we can build something really special together, and I know you're here and you're committed with me. So, Tracey, it has been an absolute pleasure to spend the last several minutes with you, literally gushing over you and your team. And you know what? But I know there's no I in team, and we got to talk about the rest of your group. So next up, we have Caleb Bartlett, who's going to show us how Google is going to change Rockstar in 2020. Caleb, how are you, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Man,
to be here.
Dude, I'm excited about you. We've been like courting you, chasing you for, it's not a year yet, but it's getting close to a year.
Feels like a long time.
Right? So tell everybody a little bit about what you do, a little bit about your background, and what you're going to help Rockstar with in 2020.
Yeah, so I'm the director of digital marketing. Been here about a month now. I been doing this since I can remember, honestly. I look back and I was doing this before I knew I was digitally marketing before I was digitally marketing. Right. When social media, specifically Twitter, was booming in early 2000s, I was in high school and I love sports, so I'd be sitting there tweeting, talking about sports, kind of finding a niche audience, and I quickly found I could grow an audience quickly. And then I could turn and sell to them, right? Now I have 50,000 people sitting here with a very specific audience. I know what they like. They like football. They like sports. I can now sell to them.
This was on Twitter?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of during that Twitter boom when Twitter was a little more relevant than it is maybe now. But I just been kind of following that buzz, that high ever since, the digital marketing high, I call it, where you take a service, you perfect it, and in our case, we're going to lease with it. And that's kind of where I've evolved into Google now, where I want to be the absolute best Googler, Google Analytics, Google wizard you can be.
Okay, now that you got me going there because that's a lot. So let's slow down.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's a lot. Let's slow down.
Yeah.
Tell me what Google can. Tell me what Google can do for us in our apartment marketing.
Yeah, I think in 2020 it's everything. I think Tracey mentioned that 99% of people start online. I would agree and probably say everybody. I think if we're being honest, almost everybody's going to start at a search engine, right? If you're buying a consumer product, if you're buying anything, you're going to start on Google.
And most people start on Google.
Absolutely.
Not versus Yahoo or anybody else, right?
Yeah, Yahoo and Bing, I think, are largely irrelevant in 2020.
Wow.
I wouldn't spend... I'm yet to see someone go to their phone and go to Yahoo or Bing. And maybe there's a demographic out there. That's very small.
So let's talk about how I use Google whenever I want to find anything.
Yep.
Like I heard yesterday that Tom Brady, greatest of all time, wants to be a Dallas Cowboy, and I didn't believe it, and I typed it into Google. Like, and you say, you always use the expression, let's Google it.
Yeah.
Right, so they have like that, like back in the day when IBM, I need to copy it, or I need to, I need to IBM or whatever Xerox, excuse me,
right.
Xerox it, right? They stole the brand name, right? So that's how I use Google, and I find whatever I want. So tell me a little bit more about how apartment prospects are using Google and what you're going to do to help us.
So in the same way, someone's going to be looking for an apartment. They're going to start their search a year before they actually need to move, maybe 6 months. They're going to go to Google and say apartments near me, apartments Humble, Texas, Humble, Texas, apartments wherever it may be. And what we're going to do is we're going to be right there. We need to be right there. If you're not right there, you're dead.
What does that mean? Slow it down.
So we are going to own the top of Google's ads share space. So Google PPC, Google AdWords, pay-per-click. You want to buy that top spot of Google as much as you want to organically own it. And the way this is shifting is you need to buy it now. You need to own it.
You buy what though?
So we're going to buy the top Google AdWord.
The AdWord itself.
We're going to buy that keyword.
Like humble,
right? Apartments.
Or apartments.
Right. And how we do that is many different ways. But the way that I have designed, how I'm going to design our structure is we're going to own a very small geographical region rather than trying to own all of the United States.
Okay.
These big ILSs, where they come in, they buy your keywords, and then they sell them back to you.
They're the toll booth.
We were talking about
leads,
them. You said you don't like them.
No, I don't like ILSs.
I have a fire in my belly that was launched about 2 years ago. I was sitting down with our big national account rep, and I said to them, why do I need to use you? And they basically said to me, well, we're the big brother. We're not going anywhere. Since that day, I've been determined to not eradicate them, but to do what they're doing better.
Do you hear that? I love that. You surround yourself with winners, but you also surround yourself with people who have a lot of hate for the same thing that you do. And when you're all working together to try to figure out another mousetrap, it's going to happen. This is what the meat of this interview right here is, that I want to eradicate. I love that word, eradicate what iOSs have done to us. Those are our leads. They've now figured out a way. Well, they know where the attention is at, so they've gone online and they've stolen our leads from us and want to sell them back to us.
Right.
I mean, like a toll booth.
Right, and in no way that's in any other industry that doesn't make any sense. If you're buying a pair of shoes, I'm going right to Nike. I go to a search engine, and I'm going right to the consumer's website. In the same way, it's the same thing with apartments. I don't know why we don't need 4 or 5 stopgaps in between us and our website. I don't want 4 different people relaying our information. I want them directly to us immediately. And how we do that? We own Google. We own the search engines. Facebook, Google, right? Number 1 and 2 biggest search engines in the world. Yeah. We own those 2 spots. We get them directly to us. We open up some Google channels that are really innovative right now and kind of really, I think, becoming more relevant. Google My Business, I think, is the website before your website. Your Google My Business is going to be that big platform that you see with the Google reviews, the information, the hours, all of that space. They have a Google Text now that we've launched in early 2020, where prospects are going to chat us any hour of the day, and we're going to get them into our CRM. So we really want to keep evolutionizing as Google does, because they're going to continue to grow. I don't think they're going anywhere. The dynamic search ads are becoming more relevant in early 2000s. In 2000, this last decade, we talked so much about AI, right? AI was this big fancy buzzword. And I really think where that's headed is these dynamic search ads, where instead of a more spray and pray mentality, we get very specific with who we're targeting. And again, on Google, we can do that, right? We buy specific keywords, our brand keywords, our brand names, and then the geographical location keywords.
Okay,
and,
so let's go into this. You said earlier, because I want to touch on this, that Facebook and Google are the 2 main search engines, right?
Biggest search engines, yeah.
Would you have a percentage on what has what?
I know Facebook's the second largest search engine in the world. Google's number 1. I would say I don't have an analytic.
So I think we've mastered, or we're getting a good hand. You'll never master anything. I think we've got a good handle on YouTube and how we can. On how Facebook can help us, right? Yeah. Once we get to the competency with Google, how is that going to change stuff for us? Because Tracey threw some wild numbers out there that I had no idea we were doing in terms of like impressions and leads. Are you saying you can double them, or are you saying you can?
I think we're going to see our lead count go up, but as Tracey mentioned, I'm not in the mindset of you just want to skyrocket leads. You don't necessarily, in my opinion, want to overwhelm a property with some huge giant lead pool that they can't manage. To me, we want to pre-qualify the leads before they get there.
Okay.
The way we do that is, again, we have what we call dynamic search ads, where we're going to have
dynamic search ads.
We're going to have keywords and text with the writers, where we're going to, again, pre-qualify somebody. If somebody can't afford our apartment, or maybe it's it's too little or too much, we want to pre-qualify them, right? Before they actually click on our link to get to our website, right? And become a lead. I believe every lead is valuable, right? We talk about a qualification of a lead. Every lead is valuable. In no way am I suggesting that some leads are not valuable. But what we can do to continue to improve is pre-qualify our leads before they get to our leasing teams. And all the tools we have to do that nowadays, we're really going to see a really cool, I think, shift in 2020 at Rockstar.
So give me a little more data then. So at your previous company, so you're saying that you would go and you would buy words, right,
Yep.
to direct them to you, right? The other day you had an interesting conversation that you said one of our Class C properties that you typed it in randomly was leading to a Class A property.
Yeah.
Tell me why they would do that to you.
So what they're doing to you and the incredible brand that Rockstar has built, they are going to buy your branded keyword because no one in this space was owning that keyword. So they go on, and it's hard not.
What was the keyword? Rockstar?
No, it was the branded apartment.
The apartment in Northlake.
That's exactly Northlake Apartments. Northlake Manor. They bought Northlake Manor. So if you go type in Northlake Manor and then the branded keyword, or the location keyword, that community was coming up in where you should be, right? Your spot, your space. And as last night, I was actually working a little bit, and I sent an email to the team and saying, here's another one where I again, it's the property slipping my mind. But I said, hey, when you guys are seeing these, let me know, because we need to punch back, as you said yesterday. We need to punch
I love
back
it. I want to punch back. I want to take big punches.
Yeah, and
big swings.
That to me. At my previous company, we were able to completely eliminate ILS over a year. $500,000 in ILS gone by simply implementing a better Google and social media strategy, and that's what we're going to do here.
As you know, I'm a big Gary Vee follower, and he was the inspiration for the videography and the whole marketing team, right, and telling the story. And I remember him sharing how he grew his wine business, and he grew his wine business back in the 90s or whatever year it was, when he just got out of school. He's my age, right? So it probably would have been in the mid 90s, I guess. He got on Google and bought wine, bought Cabernet, bought these words. They were like, I think he said a nickel a click, if you can believe that. And he did it all the way up. And his biggest regret is, man, I grew to a $70 million business, but I could have been a $300 million business if I had more confidence in myself, right? Yeah. So is that really how it works then? That people type in the word and they're going to direct them back to you, and then, it sounds expensive, even at 20, 30 cents. Tell me how it's not.
It sounds expensive, but I think long term, our goal with SEO, search engine optimization, is we don't want to buy every click. If I'm doing my job well, if our team's doing our job really well, we're not going to pay for every click. Ultimately, long term, the terms we want to be buying, again, those what I call low-hanging fruit of the brand, is going to be a much more geographical buy. So what we call geo-targeting. Geo-targeting in that location. If you search your brand and if I'm in Katy and I search for Deerbrook Apartments, organically we should be coming up 99% of the time if we're doing our job well, and we're going to.
Right.
But there's going to be the instances, again, with Google algorithm that is constantly changing, that if somebody's buying your keyword, that we are going to have to, again, punch back, if you will, and go and take that keyword back and spend $100, a few $100 over the year to get that back. Until they stop doing that. So if no one's buying your branded keyword, our SEO will dominate that space, and we will be at the top of the page for free. Does that make sense?
It does a little bit. Can you see histories on how many times that word's been bought in the past, what it used to be paid for?
So Google doesn't openly release who's buying. If they would openly say, hey, these people are buying your keywords, that would be a lot easier. But how we do that is we just keep a very close eye, and I'm checking daily.
So there's no go back in the 2017, 2018 and see how many times that word was used, or how many times it was bought and what it was sold for.
No, we can go forward and we can do a keyword planner, but we can't go back and find a keyword history.
So the name of the game for us first is to be defensive.
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell me how we're going to get offensive.
So we're getting offensive, I think, with Google.
I want to score touchdowns, Caleb. How are we going to
score
touchdowns?
So I actually, my favorite analogy right now is, I think traditional marketing is all storytelling, and that's super important. I think digital marketing is more algorithm optimization and probability. I don't want to give away too much of our secret, but we simplify the process by getting a group of people that are searching for something in a certain area, like an ILS, and just getting them right to our website, and combining budgets and creating our own mini ILSs, things like that. Again, I don't want to over talk about.
We can talk a little bit, because 99% of you out there aren't going to do it. I know that. I learned that from Gary. We can talk a little bit about it.
So essentially, then what we want to do in this example, we own 80% of the market share in Humble. We want to have our own ILS in Humble. We're gonna take all of that budget, and we're gonna own all of Humble, and we're gonna send everybody to that ILS where we have all of our properties. So we're not going to spend what the typical mom and pop shops doing is they're going to have campaigns and spending money on each location. What we're going to do is we're going to combine all that and own a space, own an entire region, rather than trying to specifically get people to that website. We're going to have one mini ILS. And really just do what...
Is this similar to owning a domain name and saying apartments in Humble or
right?
Which we own, by the way.
Yep. So essentially,
we had some foresight a couple 3 years ago when we did that. Just didn't have. I didn't have the weapon. I just knew I needed to play defense, and I did that.
And I'm glad you did, because now we're going to take that. We're going to create a landing page, and we're going to combine all of that budget, and we're going to be able to send thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people there this year to that page, and now they're going to be able to choose from our awesome properties in that area.
You amaze me. There's just so much that you're talking about, and it just I can see the wheel in your head moving, and it gets really exciting and inspires the crap out of me. It really does, because it's like, it's the team that scores the most, not the team that plays defense. Play a little defense, but score touchdowns. Surround yourself with skill set. Surround yourself with skill positions like they do in sports, right? You got to have that star running back. You got to have that wide receiver. You got to have the coach. Defense is good, and you hear the expression that defense wins championships, but nobody ever won 0-0. Right? You've got to win a game by scoring a touchdown. And you got to have receivers, you got to have running backs, you got to have people that can make plays. Surround yourself with playmakers and let the playmakers do what they do. They make plays.
And we're going to keep innovating, and we're going to keep next year it's going to be a completely different strategy, I'm sure, and we're going to keep innovating. And you in this space, if you don't innovate, you die. I think even more so than most spaces, the digital marketing space, if you don't change now from next year, we will be dead. And we won't allow that to happen, of course. But even a year ago, it was a completely different mindset and strategy, and it's so cool. That's what I love about digital marketing. You're
giving me goosebumps, right? Because again, this has been a progression, right, for a long time. People don't want to learn it. They don't want to take a chance, and at the end of the day, someone's going to put them out of business. Because you're not willing to innovate. And I learned that from Gary Vee. He showed me that, he explained that to me, both in our 2 meetings, again, in all the podcasts that I've listened to for hours and countless of hours, which are worth so much money to me when I think about, the value that they brought, right? But if you don't look for your weakness, if you don't look for your weakness and then try to put yourself out of business, someone else is going to do it for you. I think digital marketing, marketing in general is a weakness for us. Somebody took a punch at us by stealing our name and didn't even know it was occurring. We were sleeping at night and it had been occurring. It's nice to now take the veil off, really, and see the rest of the world and see how they're doing it, and hope that we're still early enough that we can create that defense, find the weakness, find the weapon against it, right? And then do to others what they were doing to us and get market share. That's all this is about, is market share. And I love the part where you said, that's just this year. In 2021, we'll get more innovative and we'll find another way to win. Because you got to constantly evolve or you're going to die. Every year, people have goals and they set their resolutions and all that. But at the end of the day, you're either moving forward or you're moving backward. Nobody stays still.
Yep.
And I want this company, I want us to grow all together and move forward and be that company of tomorrow. And with all the things that we have going on, having someone like you on the team, if not more of someone like you on the team, is going to help us get to our goals.
Awesome.
So
excited.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kate.
It's
been an absolute pleasure to have you join us on the podcast. Hey, there's a lot going on here at Rockstar Capital. I hope you can feel the vibe that I'm giving off right now, the sense of pride, the excitement, the anticipation for all this to happen, right? 2020 is going to be a fantastic year for us, and the marketing and the digital marketing and the innovation that we're leading from this team is going to be at the front and center of that change and how we look in 2021 and beyond. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Apartment Rockstar podcast. Please tell your friends about us, sign up, follow this, share this episode. Can't wait to see you next time.